This is William DeMille. I have spent my lifetime being a farmer, in a profession that values the natural world and what it can produce for humanity. I created this channel to share with you how raising food enriches the human experience. I do this by focusing on the little things, the quiet moments, the solitary vistas, the dusty trails, the hard times, the good times, and the real times, including the lows of heartache and the highs of shared laughter. Join me today as we cultivate something beautiful.
We're out in Clover Valley, Nevada, and we're watching 3 different tractors make biodynamic hay for the cattle to eat once the green grass is done growing this spring and summertime. What you're looking at right now is a swather that's cutting the hay. Go along here. What you see over here is a rake that is putting all of the hay into windrows. If I can pull this up high enough. Behind the rake, that's William, and he has a sprayer on the back of the four-wheeler that has a probiotic supplement that they spray on the hay. And what it does is it breaks it down and turns it into what we call haylage. Over here, you see a baler that's collecting all of the hay, and it's going to drop one out here shortly.
We started bale grazing the beginning of January. Now, let's see, today's the 14th, so the middle of January. By no means am I an expert in this because it's a trial. We're learning. So first of all, the first thing to note is what we did with our hay. We put this hay up high moisture, meaning that we cut it in the morning, baled it in the afternoon. We didn't allow dry down time. So we were probing the bales. They were 30% plus moisture. We sprayed the windrows with an inoculant, a probiotic inoculant, to be able to start the bales fermenting. This inoculant is produced by Ken Hamilton in Cache Valley, Utah. What it does, it works in either an aerobic or anaerobic environment, whereas most silage you have to have it covered. You want it to be anaerobic, meaning there's no air that gets in. If air gets in, it allows the bad bugs, the bad guys, to get in and take over. So this can work in both. In this case, we just baled it up, dumped the bales out. We didn't even tie the bales, and so what we're doing is we're just basically strip grazing using single wire electric fence, allowing a couple days ration of feed. So this is what we're seeing after, and you know, it looks like a waste of feed, which in some ways it is, because it didn't all go through the cow. You know, they bedded down on it, peed and pooped on it. They're not going to come back and clean it up. So why would we do this, I guess, is probably the biggest question. And why did we do this, and would we do it again, and what do we want to learn from this experiment? Well, why did we do it? I kind of try to push the envelope of what's possible. I didn't invent this. Other people around the world do it, especially up in Canada where they get snow really deep. Gabe Brown in North Dakota has done it for years successfully, and so I just kind of trusted that the experts that I listened to, if they could do it there, I could probably do it here. So it's possible. We've proven that it's possible. It's less labor intensive, in the sense that I can come down here and, you know, we only have 200 cows in this herd, which numbers don't matter. It could be 1,000 cows, and it only takes me less than half an hour to move electric fence every other day. So there's definitely a labor savings. Yes, you've got to be out here, but the alternative would be we would harvest the hay, haul it to a stack yard, and then feed cattle every day or every other day, starting a tractor burning fuel. And This way it's just basically an ATV, pretty low tech. I can set up the fences, and so somebody else can come down, and if I'm not here, they can open the gates or take down the fence and let the cattle into a new field. And so far I'm impressed with the results. It's yet to be seen what will happen in these areas, you know, where the hay is really matted. Likely it will suppress the native grass, but one thing about hay is it's going to promote a fungal environment. You know, will weeds come in? We don't know yet for sure. I'll probably take the time to go ahead and harrow this next spring, just to distribute the manure. We're already on a regime of spraying compost tea every couple years, and so especially with the high carbon content on the soil, we'll try to really boost the biology, which the environment is already there. So probably come in with a round of compost tea to be able to help these things to degrade and get into the soil instead of just staying on top of the soil. And we'll just document the results and we'll see. Would I do it again? Probably so, based on what I've seen. The cattle seem to be content, and other than they do breach the electric fence if they get a chance, so training them to a good hot fence is key to that. We haven't figured that out completely, but most of our cattle are trained to electric fence. These are new cattle that haven't been on the place yet. So drawbacks to it: the ground's frozen, it's harder to build electric fence. Sometimes when it's, you know, today it's a warm afternoon, it wouldn't be a problem. If it stays cold, I have to pre-drill the holes with a cordless drill to be able to drop the step-in posts into. And it's just different, you know, it's something that you don't really know what to expect. I guess the other drawback could be is their cattle aren't having fresh feed rolled out every day. There is a little bit of competition, you know, not so much because the boss cows, the big cows, they're going to get full and they're going to go get a drink, and the weaker cows can come in and eat. But that could be an issue. So far the results, I would say, are positive, and we'll just document and see if we decide to do it again. So this is a high moisture bale that we put up last summer, inoculated with beneficial probiotics. You can tell it looks moldy. We sent off a forage test, which in addition to doing a standard forage sample, I also had them do the mycotoxin, aflatoxin, basically anything that would be toxic, and it came back super clean, you know, as clean as green hay, literally. So what we're seeing here is this dust and white looking, what could be mold is actually a beneficial yeast. So we're starting the pre-digestion process in the bale. Normally, this is the first time we've done it with grass hay. We've done it with alfalfa before. The bales will heat up, and a lot of times they'll stay warm into the winter. These bales, I think because of the long fibers, they probably tended to wick the moisture out and maybe dried out quicker. The other thing, those bales, the alfalfa and sorghum that we put up in the past, it would turn more caramelized. We have a really, really sweet, strong smell. I'm not seeing that so much in this grass hay. So bottom line is, it improves, the idea is it improves the efficiency of the digestion of the feed. It doesn't change those things that you'll normally measure on a feed quality test, so the relative feed value or total digestible nutrients. They're going to stay the same. Crude protein is going to stay the same, but you've started to break down those complex carbohydrates, the lignin and so forth, which are hard for the cow to digest in the time that it has inside the rumen. So Bottom line is, the idea is more of the feed goes into meat and milk and less comes out the back end in the form of manure. So this is a high moisture, kind of again an experiment that we've done. We have anywhere from bales that don't look like they fermented at all, they dried out too much, to these that really fermented and got kind of squishy and soft because of the high moisture in them. The other thing about doing it this way, the advantage to bale grazing is you don't have to move these bales. They get really heavy because of all the moisture in them. So, you know, it probably increases their weight by 25% or more. So far, I would say the results are positive. We're still learning. Dial it in. Ways that if you're going to do this, maybe on a more controlled scale, you could wrap these bales, but that's very labor intensive. Another idea would be go ahead and tie them with sisal twine, the degradable twine, leave them in rows, and then get a row wrapper that'll go down the row, so you can create an anaerobic environment. I would still inoculate it, I would think, with the probiotics, and do that, and then the results that other folks are seeing by doing that are pretty phenomenal as far as gain, even in the dead of winter. So
thank you for enjoying this small moment with us. It is our hope that it blessed your life. As the sun sets, the earth rests, and so do we. Tomorrow we start again to grow a future in our corner of the world.